you started watching Devs? This is a show you just put me on. I'm apparently 2 years behind, but it's a really good show, Devs.
Devs, it's off of Netflix.
And once we leave here, I would like a little ride. If you busy, if you free.
If you free. Only if you free.
Only if you free. We could do it whenever.
And he's not the only
It
one
depends.
asking.
It depends on what time we finish.
What time we need to finish?
What time we need to finish?
Yeah.
Probably not gonna be today.
Oh man, wow, that's sad.
He set it up.
That's
This
sad.
time.
Yeah. I knew that's where he was
I
going
got
with it.
Korean barbecue. I'm trying to get to.
We got you a little bit.
No. It's a group thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know the Korean barbecue is a group endeavor. It's not.
Sometimes you can do one-on-one.
I'm never doing one-on-one at them prices.
Yeah, they be high. They be like
That's a waste of money right
like
there.
32 or like 22 for depending. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not
When you do
doing
a
it by yourself.
one-on-one, and you get one thing. You don't even get no sides, man. The place we went to got sides, but most of them don't. Where you going?
I think it's a place. I think it's in Buckhead. I think like Sandy Springs. It's called
R&H.
Thrill.
Oh, Thrill. Yeah.
I haven't been there, but my friend said that's a nice spot. So, like they're watching Mortal Kombat at his spot, and then after that they're going up there.
Shit. All right, cool. Say something, B.
Say something.
You're gonna have to lift yours up a little bit.
All of it, like this.
Yeah, just the mic. Hold on, hold it right there. All right, cool. That should be a little bit better. Say something else.
All right, is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
All right, cool. I think everybody sounds good. Everything looks good. Hopefully that's recording how it needs to be
You
recording.
say you watching Mortal Kombat?
They're watching Mortal Kombat. I haven't seen it yet.
I started it before I came.
I've
over
watched
here.
it twice now. Yeah, don't rush.
Twice.
It's
Twice
straight.
already.
I already watched it once by myself yesterday,
okay.
and then when Jude pushed up, we watched it again.
Oh, gotcha.
I had just finished Snowfall last night. Yes, sir.
that last episode was it, wasn't it?
He put that cane down.
Mm-hmm.
You already know what's gonna happen next season, boy.
I was just like, the cane is down.
Yes, and he just went through hell that season, so you
Maybe,
already know he's
maybe next season he's about to come.
It was
come
his
proper
own
with that
hell,
season.
though.
You already know he's.
It was his own hell, though. He just caught up with his own
How many
decisions.
more seasons y'all think we got?
This is the last season.
The 5th season? You think so?
This gonna be the last season.
Because they haven't said or announced it as the last season yet, though.
I feel like it's gonna be the last season.
I don't know. It might be. I could see them going to 6.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. So
I would hope that they would not go past 6.
yeah,
though.
just don't go too
Like-
long, because it's
How many seasons was Breaking Bad?
Like eight.
I think.
I feel like that's their only competitor, so they may go to 8.
8. I mean,
yeah,
that's
but they
not
don't
their
have
only
like the
competitor.
viewers that Breaking Bad had.
People put Snowfall in the same category with Power and with
How many
The
seasons did
Wire.
Power go to?
Oh, that's it was a lot of seasons.
I never watched Power. I hate it.
and
I
they,
never watched
and they
it
got a
either.
spin-off, so
Just
it's
because
still going,
everybody that was
technically.
like Power's good was not people I found credible. I was like, no, I'm not watching it, so I never watched it.
And I think The Wire is like,
Yeah, people.
Are they too loud?
they are too loud.
You
But
got
we're
it
not
too
really
loud.
like started yet, so it's fine.
We've been started. Okay.
That was
Look at this
kinda
nigga trying to
rude.
record.
I'm on FaceTime.
Oh, okay.
Hey, kid, don't let her talk to you like that, bro.
I haven't seen all the seasons of The Wire though.
100.
This is a funny day. This is really funny. All right, let me introduce this. Yo, what's going on? We are back finally. It's been forever since we. What's funny? What's funny?
Yo, what's going on?
What's funny?
Sorry.
Can I intro?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You asked the question.
Sheesh. Throw me off my mojo. Man, this is the Too Many Ideas podcast. We're back. This is like episode 13, I think. It's been forever since we recorded. We was out in fucking Denver for a week. But now we back, getting back into the swing of things. Glad to be back. Glad to, put content back out for you guys. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, follow if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever. But subscribe and all that kind of stuff on YouTube. You know, we drop videos every week, most of the time. Clips, shorts, all that kind of stuff. So check us out. If you like this video, make sure you like, make sure you comment on the topics we talk about and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we can get into it now. How y'all doing? Everybody here?
I would say, look at me.
I gotta start with you. Oh my bad. Ladies first.
You
Ladies
were
first.
talking to them, and I was like, this disconnect that we just had. God, well, I've had a pretty stressful week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we can all say that. I think we can all say that.
Yeah. I think we all had a pretty heavy week. But I feel fine. So
yeah,
hopefully.
I mean, it's Sunday, man. I'm good. It's been a nice chill Sunday. I done slept in after a long week. How you doing, Corey?
I'm amazing. Sensational.
Okay, I'm glad you took the glasses off because you was looking a little too cool over here.
Oh, I just took the shades off. Yeah, we inside.
Yeah, thank you. All right, cool. And we have a guest here who hasn't been on this podcast before. He's a good friend of ours, also a musician, and also a Tesla owner. Kamal.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself. Tell them about yourself, what you do, all that kind of stuff.
All right, so I'm Kamal. My musician name Cam Moto. I make music, all genres pretty much. Produce, graphic design. I
drive a Tesla.
I drive a Tesla.
He does a lot.
Yeah, he did. He's well versed.
Yeah, and I got also clothing brand on the way soon. That's in the works. So, trying to diversify, build up the brand. Generational wealth and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Generational wealth. All right, yes, That's cool. So something I wanted to talk about that I just thought about earlier this week, cause I was just thinking about music and how we kind of perceive and take in music and all that kind of stuff. And we all know that the Who I Smoke song that we love so much, that where basically in said song, and it's a great song, it's a fun song, I love that song. But in that song, they're talking about people that they smoked. And for those of you out there, if we have any listeners who don't know what smoked means, that's when somebody kills somebody. That's what happens. And basically they're talking about all the ops that they done took out, or whatever, however you want to say it. And it's over. What's the original song called? Do you know what the original song? You might know the original song. The and I need you. I need you. It's over this very classic 2000
it's
song.
Vanessa Carlton. I think 1,000 Miles.
Yeah. That. It's over a very classic 2000s, I guess, maybe even 90s song that's super catchy, and it blew up everywhere once it dropped. The video is super hilarious and all that kind of stuff. But let's kind of look into the actual song and think about what they're actually. You already shaking your head about what they're actually talking about. And part of me was just thinking after seeing I was watching another I guess another podcast where they were talking about black trauma and television and all that kind of stuff. And it made me think about black trauma and music, and how that kind of song, as catchy and as fun as it is really kind of highlighting some very negative things for people and their families and all that kind of stuff. And it draws back to the whole Bobby Shmurda situation with his song, where he's highlighting something negative. And there was a whole thing where they asked the mother of the person that he's talking about who got killed in that song, and how she said every time hot nigga is brought up, that it's very traumatic for her. And then you got the same situation with Dirk and all his people who talk about what's the nigga name, Tuka, smoking Tuka, all the time,
Chicago drum
and it's
music.
just how is there a, can we separate? It's kind of like a separation of artist and music kind of thing, the person from the music. But in a similar kind of sense, can we separate what they're talking about from what the song like actually is. Like, can it still be like a good song that we should be championing? Like, yo, this is a fire song, promoting it, whatever, pushing out to people, like having other people listen when it's kind of like shitting on people who have passed and thinking about like their families and stuff like that. Like, what do you guys think? If anybody who wants to start.
Heavy to heavy. Let's get it,
Yeah.
baby. Man, so we had a heavy week, but I'm just keeping the ball rolling. Let's get it.
Okay, well, I'll some first. I feel like it's a bit different only because when it comes to Black people in music, it's always been rooted in trauma. And the flip side is that they use that trauma to make money. So that's kind of how it started. Like most rappers, when they first started rapping, they were drug dealers talking about, yeah, like, I'm a rapper my life. So I'm thinking about it now, to your point, because people didn't want to watch them. People didn't want to watch 12 Years a Slave because it's like, you're just constantly not even showing Black people, but people of other colors, like, this narrative that's not. It doesn't. Yeah. So
it's a whole like it's a narrative kind of thing, and it's weird because in music, especially, you have this whole authenticity thing. Like, people only really like fuck with your music when it's authentic, when it's authentically you. But it's just like when it is that, and that's really like the life that you're living. Is like, how can you really judge that when you're crucifying people who aren't authentic, like say a 6ix9ine or like CJ with the Whoopty song. Like, people have been really questioning him because they don't think he's really, a gang member. And that's what he's rapping about. That's what that whole song is about. And he doesn't get the same kind of like credit. But, he made a hot song. Yeah. He didn't, live that exact life. So it's kind of, you still get the hot song, but it's like, nah, it's not as cool because...
Yeah, but for that point, I think the question is, why does he feel pressure to make a song that's not authentic,
And that was going to drive me to my question, unless you had something you wanted to say. Like, when you were saying everything, I was like, it's really, like, it's different between, like, the filmmaking and, like, television entertainment. Even though music is an entertainment business, the root of it comes from, like, really the artist. So, like, I'm really a lot more, like, authenticity is going to strike quicker from the artist than it would be from necessarily, like, a director or a producer of a TV series, because they're trying to highlight a narrative. But, like, when you're a storyteller, in whichever way how you want to put out your story, the question is, like, in music, hip-hop specifically, is culture driving the music, or is the music industry driving what's being produced? And that's where it's kind of getting, I'm like, it's such like, you don't know if a nigga's really, like, when he's saying all that shit, like, that nigga may be talking his real shit. And, like, you want to make music that's relatable and authentic to that crowd that you're in. So it's like...
I mean, that's always how it's been, though. Like, of course, you have people who actually live the life that they're talking about a lot of times. Then you have, like, because hip-hop industry is the most dominant music genre on the planet right now. So it's so commercial, it's so much money. Like, they can just dress you up in a way. It's like, okay, we can sell you to the public now, but... I guess, I mean, what are they supposed to talk about? You know what I mean? Like, like what are they supposed to talk about if that's their
true.
Life? Like,
that's
what
true.
do you want them? Because they're not. It's not a glorification. It's just like, this is where I'm at with it. Like, this is our life. This is what we see. So it's like, I don't think that they're like trying to bigot them. Like, yeah, we shoot niggas, but it's like, yeah, we did shot that nigga last week.
Like, here come the double-edged sword on that. Because, like, just like you said, like, what else are they supposed to talk about? And then when they actually do, like, majority of these niggas, these are their first, like, big song that's popped off, right? So that is the shit they live in. Yeah. But then like, watch how it pivots and they start rapping about different shit. Nah, we want you to go back to that shit. And they live in a completely different life now. So you notice they're not even talking that shit.
They might lose part of their fan base if they start talking about different things, because they're like, you changed on us, and like, yeah, I did change, but like,
I'm out the hood, nigga. Like,
I don't know.
I'm even caviar and steak and shit. Like, I'm not.
And it is like twofold, because at the same time, they're highlighting who they've kill, but it's always in like this is a gang sense. So if that other person had killed them, they would have did the same thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you're in that kind of like lifestyle, they're gonna put you in that song. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But then I'm thinking about what y'all just said. I feel that's also what holds them back, because I think they keep an entourage that keeps them credible, and I think
sometimes
that could be to like their detriment,
Sometimes. I mean, you see that happen with like dang, I forgot what the guy's name was. Casanova. Yeah. He was on the rise as far as like rap music goes, but he was still in the streets doing
shit,
street
yeah.
shit. So it's just like whenever you're a rapper, I feel like once you start to see like a certain level of success,
Yeah,
you really gotta at least try, because I know it's not just like easy to just be like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
know
gonna
what
let
I mean?
y'all stay in the trap,
Like,
and I'm gonna go live.
You really gotta like,
life. Yeah.
but you still gotta like try to take yourself out of that street setting.
Yeah, it's just
at
it's
least,
kind of like
give yourself
even
space.
like Meek Mill's trajectory, right? So
Yeah, that was it.
I think he's a pretty good example for just like understanding. Okay, like I'm getting more success, more money. I have to figure out how to separate myself in a way where I'm not putting my family in jeopardy, myself in jeopardy, everybody, because I'm paying everybody's bills. And me, I'm paying everybody's bills. So if I get caught up, they can't eat no more. So it's just, and I don't think I don't think he left the streets like, he don't see the people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's in a space where it's like, okay, I can make my money and make my, build up my legacy, but I also still touch the people in the way, like, you know, at times when I'm not just gone. You know what I mean?
See, with Meek Mill, I feel like with his situation, I and this has always been a discussion for people, I feel like he was more so targeted by the system.
Yeah.
As far as like what he used to do, more so than what he was doing at the time when he started to get like in trouble with everything. Like, because I don't really think he was. I mean, I remember the charges, but at the same time, it didn't seem like he was really like trying to be out there like that.
It was just the environment he was in, like because of what happens in that environment, and he's a high profile artist. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's target him, make an example. But I don't think he was doing anything necessarily in that environment. He was just there, and we know what goes on there though. So
yeah, that's true. And honestly, I was real happy when Bobby and Rowdy finally were able to get out.
Yeah.
And it was, I saw this other video. It was funny because this guy had tried to give Bobby some shoes that had the Crip check on them. And he was just like, oh, no, I can't take them because of my parole. Like, he's really trying to keep it clean, as clean as possible. He doesn't drink at the clubs no more. I'm sure you've seen that video where he's like, nah, because that's part of his like parole. And you got to kind of like, you have to stay on a certain straight and narrow path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even if you listen to the music, it's like, it's very, it's different. It's not like different. Like they're still talking about the same things, but it's more so, I would call it in like in a Drake type of way. Cause when you listen to Drake, he's never talking about how he's a shooter. He's always talking about like, yeah, I got this guy, I got that guy, I got that guy. It's just like he's trying to keep himself a little bit safer. Separation, just a little bit of separation there. And it's
a line between them and what they get involved with.
Yeah. And for me, I guess it's just like sometimes I just really think about those types of songs and how the things that they highlight, and how you said, I think, I can't remember which one of y'all said this, but they're not like glorifying it.
Yeah.
And they might not be, but we kind of are by making it a huge song. And like, is there something wrong with that?
Because the whole time I was here, I'm really trying to think through music. I'm like, are we changing music, or like the old head niggas used to really be on the tracks and really be like, yo, I popped that nigga, I popped this
50
nigga.
Cent, Get Rich Try Trying. Yes, he was.
And that's what I was thinking.
Every song was about I will shoot you.
But I'm saying, did we say the name, like the name dropping? Like that's the thing that's different now. Like that was the name dropping. That's the shit that's new.
Put your name in that song.
Like now it's a name attached to a record. Like now it's like
definitely.
I guess it depends on how serious the beef is. Like when Biggie and Tupac were beating, they were putting names in those songs. Like we knew who they were. But that was specifically. I had a problem with you, and we knew that. Like so, it depends on how serious.
And that was probably the oldest example of what we're dealing with now, just on a wider scale. Because I feel like that's literally what we're living in now. Like, oh shit, like name drop, we glorify the beef. Like that beef got glorified the more it got publicized, and that was it. The more names kept dropping, the more tracks came out, more records came out, more PR shit came out. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And for me, I feel like, especially with the Who I Smoke song, nothing has came out now.
Title.
I know what I'm saying, bro. Like they were extremely blatant with that song, and nothing has came out now. But I can see like in a month from now there being stories about they said like 4 names in that song. It's like whoever,
why? But it's like,
about what happened
this?
with them.
You're
and
telling
now
on
it's like,
yourself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because like it just reminds me of the whole take dang, I've got their names. But
TK?
basically, well, yeah, about how basically they're using their lyrics now against them in court.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
On
So
the
now
internet.
it adds like a whole other level because
What-
if you're putting it out there, that means that you're basically
It's the
Doing the work
What-
for them.
What do
Yeah.
y'all think about that though? Like using lyrics in court, should that be admissible? Really, since it's a creative form, like should it really? I know. You think about it in a situation with Who I Smoke, where they're saying, "Yeah, I killed this person, I killed this person," but think about it in a more objective kind of. I mean, not objective, but
I think it gives them like in the court. It probably helps them with the evidence that they have.
yeah.
And I think that's probably where the
Like
problem.
I don't think that's gonna like give them the sentence necessarily, but it doesn't help your case if they have those lyrics. You know what I mean? Like it only because they probably have more evidence, like a lot of evidence other than then they get this song that I did this and it's like, well, we have all this and then this on top of it is like.
But should it even be admissible?
I don't
Like,
think
at
it
all?
should be used in court. Personally, I mean, if anything, I feel like art is up to the interpretation of who's listening. So to put that in the ears of 9 different people as a way to kind of like characterize this person who's on trial, I feel like it's gonna be too chaotic. Like
I'm with that because I'm biased in the whole court. Like I mean, shit. Like fuck 12. Fuck all that shit. So like even putting a black person or anybody in court, I'm like, yeah, the shit ain't gonna be. Yeah, it's not sweet no matter what. So
Yeah, no, for real.
I'm biased. I'm like all that shit. Like don't even put black people in court. Put us through something. Like take us somewhere else. Like don't even.
Yeah, I mean the lyrics in court thing. I feel like it's biased towards black people,
Yeah,
for sure.
black artists, rappers, like literally just biased towards because like you can't use any other kind of like lyrics in
Cause
court.
like if it's a
Right.
white guy, if it's a white artist and they talking about how they did all types of recreational drugs, and then let's say they do some more wild shit, they're not attaching that shit to them.
yeah, and
per se.
listen-
They're attaching the evidence that they actually have, and that's all they need.
Listen, there is some wild stuff that them white boys be saying in them country songs,
No,
like
for
about
real.
the shit that they be doing what they want. Like I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to country, so it's rare that I've heard that.
Yeah.
But I
Disclaimer.
have heard
You
that.
put that disclaimer out
I
there
have.
so y'all can know. It's only been a few records.
I have heard that though, and it's just like I could never see that being used against them in court in the same way that they're about to start playing every rapper song in court. Like,
yeah, and then I think it's unfair because the way rap is, you kind of gotta talk about this, you know, to make us for a song to blow up. To me, like in country or really like pop, it's like you can choose to vocalize that in your music, but as a rapper, you kind of have to.
yeah.
You know?
And then I'll be thinking about like even if we like go back to Drake saying I be with the shooters. If one of those shooters that he's talking about
Yeah.
gets a case, he is now off that felony just
Yeah.
for saying that.
Yeah.
And that's like come on, like that doesn't even make any sense to be able to put that kind of situation, even though that would never happen to Drake because Drake
Yeah.
is Drake. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
like anyone who says something of that
magnitude,
level
yeah,
is
yeah.
gonna get taken out. Any New York rapper who says anything about guns,
But
guns aren't legal in New York, so.
it's more just on the artist to make a better decision with
That's what I was
like
thinking.
with the music they make. Like not to say you can't, talk about what you talk about, but you don't have to say I shot that nigga. Like you don't have to put that in the song. You can say everything else except I did this to you. Like
Yeah.
that's
have
a
to
that's an
name
easy
drop.
that's an easy lyric you don't have to put in.
Honestly, as big as that song is, I'm surprised that nothing has happened yet for them.
I feel like something. I hope I'm not gonna put that in there, but it's like the
Yeah.
fans be on the internet.
It's in the water.
That's
Yeah,
The fans
and
be on the
I don't
internet.
know what
you
part
what
of the
I
stream
mean?
is up,
And then
but
even with that being said, I'm imagining, if somebody that I knew got smoked and they got no charges, and I'm hearing this song on the radio, I'm just like, there's no justice for me, and now you're making
Yeah.
millions off of,
yeah,
that lyric.
off of that same kind of like trauma that
Yeah.
whoever's families are involved have experienced. And I guess it gets back to the bigger conversation of Black trauma in media
Yeah.
and how that's kind of the more promoted narrative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
When you look at not even so much of the music, but definitely when you look at like film,
for
television.
sure.
and
I was
all
thinking
like
that. I was thinking that show Us. Just the Amazon Prime show Us.
No,
I thought it was them.
It's
Oh, them.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
You-
I was
but-
gonna bring that up. Yeah,
Them, Us. I was like,
I was just like first episode. I just didn't really. I wasn't liking it. Like I didn't really appreciate the way that they were depicting things. Like it didn't like I feel like it's too too frequently that they tell that same kind of story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then one thing, because I get it, and I've heard white actors talking about, I didn't want to say the word, but I'm like, I don't understand why in 20 anything you gotta, there should be like no white person saying any type of derogatory term to a black person, in my opinion. I feel the same way about a lot of things that are just kind of placed in movies for like the dramatic effect. I feel like it's not necessary. I feel the same way about depending on the movie, you know, like sex scenes, like rape scenes, like you don't have to add that, you know. And I think it's more so, I think it's desensitizing us to watching it now, and I don't think that's a good thing, you know. And because you can apply that to even like real life, you know, all these cases of, you know, black people getting shot. I remember talking about it in my class. I was just like, I don't really feel the same way I felt when I was 10, you know, because it's a regular thing now.
Yeah.
And to me, the more we show it, the more we desensitize to it, and the more they don't have a reason to stop doing it.
I was about to say, like, for me personally, like, I'm not desensitized just because I watched Judas and the Black Messiah, and I enjoyed the movie. But when I got to the end, I was mad because I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I already knew what was going to happen, and it didn't make me feel good about just being a black person. Like, the first beginning was like, oh, great, all these great things happen, and then you get to the end, and we all know what happens at the end of those type of movies. You know what I mean? And we have to come see it and be like, well, that was a great movie, but that's sad, and because that's still the reality for us in 2021, you know, in a different way, but still a lot of that is still going on.
Yeah,
it's like,
I
don't want to keep seeing that.
And then I think about, I'm like, who is the movie for? You know, who's the audience? I'm like, is it
that's what I was about to ask. Like, do you feel like that stuff is supposed to, and it's hard to even ask that question because it's just, I was about to ask, do you feel like it motivates us? But I feel like it's bad in twofold of a way because one, they shouldn't be putting something like that out for any kind of like cause towards that. But also, I think another reason for those movies is the audience is white people in a kind of like, hey, this is what really happened.
Yeah, take them
and at the same time, that's also wrong to me because I think there are just better ways to do that without, you know, putting us on display, kind of like in that kind of way, like using black trauma to be like, hey, you know, this is what we go through, like, and on top of that, they know what we go through.
Yeah,
like,
I'm too.
They try to like they don't know.
Clear as day.
You know.
Like at this point, we have enough of those movies. You know, we definitely like have enough of those movies, enough of those shows.
Yeah.
Like we don't need another, you know, Martin Luther King movie.
No,
we don't
12
need
Years a Slave.
And
No,
then
none of that.
For that movie, like that example, I read about how Fred Hampton's like estate had like a GoFundMe to raise money. So I was like, how are you making this movie, you know, paying these actors millions of dollars, getting on HBO Max, all that stuff, and you're not even funding what you're talking about.
Yeah, see, that's a big problem for me too. Like, if you're making a movie about someone, they should be completely straight. Because you make Juice and the Black Messiah, everybody saw that movie. That movie made a lot of money. There is no reason why Fred Hampton has a GoFundMe. His family, his family's family, whoever shouldn't have a GoFundMe because of how big that movie was. Y'all are making money off of a life that
his life
lived,
story.
You know what I mean? And it's the same kind of thing and weird tie-in, but in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, has anyone watched that?
I haven't finished it.
I haven't watched it, but I've been hearing things.
Well, basically, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I doubt y'all care for spoilers. I don't think the audience will care for spoilers on this kind of show. Yeah. But there was this black guy who was the actual first super soldier before, you know, Captain America.
Yeah.
And essentially, they basically like cast him to the side because he was black. And they kind of like used everything that he did to kind of like promote their fighting, their wars, all that kind of stuff. And then just kind of like slapped it behind the white Captain America. Yeah. Essentially is what happened. He just got cast to the wayside. And it's kind of reminiscent of the same kind of thing that we actually do in real life, using our real life African American heroes to promote a story, promote a movie, and not really supporting them for what they did. You know, you wouldn't have that movie without them. Yeah. You know? And I don't know how many times you could really like say that, where it's like a movie that they have and now they don't have like the same like support in life. But I definitely feel like you hear a lot about that with people who are making movies about other people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, cause even y'all seen was it Ma Rainey's I think Black
I didn't
Bottoms?
watch that one.
Same thing, essentially. Who was it? Chadwick Boseman. Like he was in there. He was like writing songs, and then the white guy was like, come bring these songs to me. You can record them, and then he basically just paid him a little bit of money for them songs, and then went right upstairs and had white people recording his shit. Like that happened all throughout the that time period. They were just taking black music, putting giving it to white people. It was like, okay, I mean, what do you want us to do? Like, and I don't want to keep seeing that shit. Like, I know that happens. I don't want to keep reliving it over and over and over and over again.
And then it's like, I think what's about that, and I apply it to like today, because I learned a lot in like housing classes, but all the shit on the Beltlines worth multi-millions of dollars now. Yeah. They paid them probably like a good amount of money. Well, not really. $300,000. And they're like, this is a lot of fucking money for me, But then I'm just like, if they're giving you that much, they're going to make that much and then a lot more. And that's the thing and then it's like, people are just uninformed, because nothing about all movies that I've seen that trivialize, in my opinion, black struggle. I'm like, where did the ticket sales go? Was anything ever given to anybody other than the people that were directly involved in the shooting?
And that's why I say like the film, like versus the music versus film is two different things, or like just TV media, entertainment in general. Like me and my dad, we talk about it all the time. Versus like music. Music is fucked up, but like how Kamal said, like the artist at the end of the day can still dictate the lyrics that's coming out of his voice. Yeah. There are way more hands and gatekeepers on films and TVs and program. Well, let me say better, programming in general, because that's what media, all that shit is. Yeah. That is like gatekeepers control that. Because I'm hearing everybody talking, I always be thinking that like, damn, like why do we keep getting this shit? And I'm pretty sure like niggas have these great scripts that's like Jordan Peele, I'm pretty sure did not just come up with Us. And that was not probably his best work, or Get Out was not his best work. I'm pretty sure that nigga was sitting on other films that he's pitched and probably sat in front of people, and it was like, we're going to fund this, and we're going to fund that. That's why, as much as I don't like a lot of Tyler Perry's work, like as an artist, he owns all of his stuff, and that's why we do get a lot more movies that may do swing positive. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his stuff is positive. It's just the artistry craft of it may be like, okay, Tyler Perry. But still, he controls his stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you're presenting, like, that's the stuff that kind of pisses me off. Because it's, like, a lot of people would drag, like, Jordan Peele right now for, like, the Them show. And I can't even watch it. I'm like, come on, I get pissed. I can't get past the third episode. Because I just get pissed in it. And
people don't really know that he wasn't, like, super
He's
involved.
not super involved.
In them, you know?
But it's the name. Yeah, and that's the funding.
The name is already attached to Us.
So it's kind of like fucked up if you're making things.
And when I look at Us, and y'all could tell me what y'all think, I don't feel like Us was a very black trauma type of story.
It wasn't.
Like that was to me was very like creative outside of the box. Like that doesn't fall in the realm of like stuff that actually happens to us right now.
But I say Get Out was the one that propelled him to making Us, and then also like not have to make another Us again, and now he could do stuff like what's the Twilight Zone? Like he could go more into that. Like he could do that, and that's the part that pisses me off, because it's like you're sitting on people who make great films. There are probably like so many great filmmakers that are like out in this world right now that have great black stories to be told, but like all the movies that you see that actually do have like a great narrative and like a good outcome to it, or like really highlighting or championing black people, and not even like the way of like, oh, we need to just be put up on a pedestal, which I think we do all the time. But you may just get just like a good story. They can't get the funding to do it the way they want to do it. So when we see, we like, damn, this is kind of trash. And I'm pretty sure behind the door they're like, we couldn't get the DP we wanted. We couldn't get the locations we wanted. We had to shoot just here.
And that's why I was so happy this isn't like a black movie, but with Snyder's cut, because I think this is the first time people realize that he has no control. He only has like not the control that you think, the autonomy that you think that directors have when it comes to their films.
Directors do all
because Warner Bros was like, hey, Justice League or Batman vs Superman didn't do so hot. Keep it under 90 minutes. Keep it light. But I'm just like, if you know Zack Snyder, those aren't his movies. His movies are not light.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just like,
DC Universe is dark in general.
yeah,
and it needs to
Go
stay that
dark.
way. That's the only thing that they do good.
yeah,
Exactly.
and
Go
so I
darker.
just, and then I
Exactly.
didn't know until recently how much power like producers have. Like that's like, oh, you're producing it, you expect something because of that producer.
Does
you know?
anyone know, like, when it comes to, because you see producer, like, what does the producer like actually do? Does
producer?
anyone like know,
Oh,
like,
I'm not sure.
word
So
for word?
from what I know, they basically fund the project,
Mm-hmm.
and then that gives them creative control as well. So it's kind of like, you know, with the shop, if somebody gives you like $1 million, they have, you know, you guys work out an agreement, but they have some type of creative control over your decision making.
Yeah, yeah. true.
That's
Okay,
like
okay,
first
okay.
level tier, but then like in just the creative industry overall, outside of music, a music producer and a producer, creative producer is different. So like it's they fund it and then they also do the coordination of it. So like if you're a producer for a music video, you have a lot of creative output and input into what's being produced throughout the whole thing. Like who's the extras?
Yeah.
Who are your
All the
stars?
people.
Where's
So like let's say
location?
Christopher Nolan may be the director. That is his idea, but that producer involved on it is the person who's going to figure out like, all right, cool, who's my art director? All right, cool, who's going to do the costuming?
Who's doing the casting
Who's
of
doing
the
the
movie?
casting? They're in charge of
Got
that.
it.
And then they're being funded by the actual Paramount Pictures or by
Yeah,
Universal,
yeah.
by Disney. So
Okay.
they're the
Trash.
person who gets the biggest say so. Now, let's say if you're a white director, you're Christopher Nolan, and you're really good people with good people, you're gonna get a lot more say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then if
'cause-
you're a Jordan Peele, you're walking in here and you're like, Jordan, we really love that Get Out film. That Get Out film was amazing. I love it. Can we get a us? And now we have a us. And Jordan Peele was probably in the room like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about what they're, to that point of what they're choosing to fund. 'Cause I remember Wolf of Wall Street. So Jonah Hill, he wanted to be in that movie. They said, we don't want to pay you your amount. So he took less money. He's like, I want to be in the movie so bad that I took less money to be in that film. So I'm thinking about people that don't have that opportunity to take lesser pay for their creative control. You know, so I'm imagining, say, and also with the Zoe Kravitz, she, Christopher Nolan said that, well, the casting director, when she auditioned for the Batman and Christopher Nolan's Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rising, they said that they wanted an all-American look. And she was like, I'm American.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
that.
she
I
would have
remember
been
that.
Zoe.
And then-
if you
and
out
then-
there, sweetheart, you could have been.
And
like,
that's
That was
crazy
a perfect
because now
Catwoman.
she's Catwoman in this movie. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, so whoever was casting was like, I don't like your
Have we
look.
actually like seen her as Catwoman in this movie?
Not
I don't
yet.
feel
Not
like
yet.
I've
I mean,
seen
it was something really slight, like a dark little.
she already my Catwoman.
that. Yo.
But yeah, so I think about all the time. And then I'm looking at Zoe Kravitz. I'm like, Zoe Kravitz is, in my opinion, pretty white passing if she tried. So I'm imagining someone like that is not all American. Of course, white, blue eyes, blonde hair.
I mean, she had the same problem with her show on
oh yeah,
Hulu that got
yeah,
canceled.
Yeah.
Like,
That
and
was a good show.
that was cool. Like, I was
It
just
a good
like,
show.
damn.
It wasn't amazing, but it was a good show.
Yeah,
I definitely
it
finished
deserved
it.
another
It had a
season.
great soundtrack.
The standard-
I like
love-
the soundtrack. I like
I
the
think the
soundtrack.
soundtrack.
I feel like the
Yeah.
standard for anything black people produce is one is very hard. Like even for me, I'm not even gonna dismiss myself. Like it's very hard as a black creative to produce something and not be held at like such a high standard. Like like you can have a good show and it's just a good show, but it's like but exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Zoe Kravitz was a good show. It wasn't like it's not a like the best way I can say
It's
you
not
can't,
no Emmy award winning
yeah, but you
allocated,
have to
but
though.
it's
You have to
yeah.
though. You
That-
have to. I
That
feel
show
like.
is high fidelity for anyone who hasn't seen
Yeah,
it.
High
You should
Fidelity.
definitely
Yeah.
give it a watch if you're into
But like you
music, any
have
kind
to
of
hit.
thing like that.
You have to hit like, and even me as an audience, I hold even my, and I don't even know why we do that. It's like for example, we dismiss Tyler Perry films, not all of them, but we dismiss majority of them. It's just like it's a Tyler Perry film. We're like,
No, he kind of deserved that though.
he does, but I'm saying in the sense
He
of like,
kind of deserved that.
Because
but name how many other movies we see out in the marketplace, and we're like, they're just movies. They're just movies. But if we say it's a black director,
And that's the
Ryan
problem.
Coogler directed it, it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I gotta go see Creed. Creed gotta pop the fuck off. Black Panther has to be amazing. Like the Black Panther 2 pressure, that nigga cannot drop the ball, bro. Like I would not even want to put out that movie. I would
I'm
be
not
so
gonna lie, yeah.
scared to put out
I bet
that
Marvel
movie.
was like, we can afford to not put out this
Exactly.
movie,
Yeah,
so we
they
gotta
can.
make some shit shake
But like,
with that
and
one.
that's the thing. Like even as an audience, like that's what I'm saying. Black people as an audience is even harder to please.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Nah, for real.
But I mean that's part of the problem. Like with Tyler Perry being the only one who's like solidified in there and that type of stuff that he makes, and it's kind of like,
and to me,
you kind of have to fold to it almost.
Yeah.
You start to do other things like what a Jordan Peele does, like what a, I don't even know if I can say it, what a Ryan Coogler does, because you know, he does still kind of like those same things that are, you know, in like based off what the studio wants almost.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure, and I can't remember all of Ryan Coogler's movies, so apologies for that.
I think it's Fruitvale, Creed.
I feel like he
Black
started
Panther.
off very.
Yeah, he hasn't done too many movies.
He hasn't
Yeah.
done too many. It was,
And that's the pressure because they're all really good.
but he also has a lot of. He does a very strong job of like pushing back and like compromise. Like he does not compromise on a lot of things, but he also has gotten like kind of that backing to not have to compromise on a lot of things because like he has, again, it's 90% about who you know. So like if he has friends behind him that's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that film. I'm gonna do that film. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do that. And you could go to a Disney and say, yeah, I could get Michael B. Jordan to be my main actor. You're like, damn, that's gonna make us some money. He could be like, yo, I'm gonna get this DP to shoot it. Damn, that's a good DP. So like now it's like, all right, cool, Ryan. You got it, bro. Like you have to. It's still about leverage in that business, and that's the part that's so fucked up.
And then what I don't like talking about Tyler Perry, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't like his movies. But then I'm just like, to me, he's very successful. So I'm like, what is the lens that we're looking at success at? If we don't see him as, if we don't,
We
like
see him as successful. We just don't necessarily like his movies.
But then again, no. But honestly, like, is he successful? Because to me,
Yeah, he definitely is.
no.
Yeah,
He's definitely successful.
I get what you're saying.
I get what
No.
you're saying,
I was
but I'm
saying
like, I'll take Tyler
because
Perry.
people don't see him. We see him because, you know, as white people, you know, we grew up with Tyler Perry. But a lot of people that didn't don't recognize what he's done.
I get what you're saying.
So-
You mean
So-
in terms of filmmaking, is he successful?
No. She's kind of getting into like the
To me-
Denzel conversation that we had.
Oh.
Like, is he worldwide successful, or is he just like black community successful?
because
I get.
But
feel
does that
success-
matter? Does that matter?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't
it does.
think it's the reason why people don't watch the BET Awards, but watch the Grammys. You know, we place those success. We place white success over black success in terms of like how we recognize it.
True.
You know, like I don't watch
Unfortunately.
BET Awards. I don't watch whatever. I don't watch any of that stuff.
I don't watch any
but
awards.
I watch in the Oscars. I watch the Golden Globes, and I'm
Anyone coming on tonight?
yeah, the Oscars, and I'm just like
Really? That's
Yeah.
tonight?
yeah.
Oh shit.
And then I'm like, why? How come I'm running towards this and I hate them because all I do is these fucking random ass movies that no one's ever heard of
Can
before.
someone pull up like the Oscar stuff? That's like,
And
'cause I
I
don't
read
even know what's.
Jason Babasaya because I mean he's been winning all of the supporting actor
Ooh, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he won a Golden Globe, he won a SAG award, all that stuff.
But
So.
and that's where I say white, like, it's again the gate fucking keepers, bro. Because it's like, if you look at it, I would even, and I hate even saying this, like, he is what you said is a really good way of like white success. But it's not really just white success; it's white visibility. Like he's gotten on white platforms in terms of like,
But
how your PR moves, like Vanity Fair or like your GQ shoots or like things like that. Like he's been put in that realm. I didn't say he switched up. Like he's still fine, but
Daniel.
yeah, like he just looks. It's the PR of it. It's like
No, it is because I feel the same way with Issa Rae. To me, Issa Rae is like
same thing.
A Top Harry, but she's marketed
Marketing.
different.
That's exactly the.
You know,
how I
she's
look
not
at it.
BET. She's on HBO.
So
you know what
I
I'm saying?
guess
You
I
think
have a
she's
question.
a Tyler Perry?
I have a question. Like
You
so,
can go ahead.
so like we're asking like is Tyler Perry successful, right? But we all know he is. But maybe not worldwide, but it's like
Worldwide.
That's
You're
that's
right.
what it is. Is he worldwide or is he world? Is he
That's
successful?
my title for this episode right there, buddy.
But it's like I think that shows the power of the black community though, because he's extremely successful and he doesn't need necessarily worldwide
That's
success
a
to be like, because he has a bigger studio than like a lot of like actual like big film studios. Like his complex is bigger than a lot of theirs. So it's like
it is.
if we just support each other, we don't need like
And that's
you know
kinda
all
like-
these other countries
That's
necessarily.
kind of the
That's that part.
thing. Tyler Perry is like a outlier of black success.
For sure.
And I would argue that he is maybe not worldwide, but he's damn near there.
Yeah.
For he's so successful in his, I guess, like field that it's basically like worldwide. Like
See, this is the
basically.
shit I be talking about. Nigga, I don't know.
And that's
I
that's
probably
the
do know
thing.
some of these movies.
I mean, I've
No, because every single year, all those movies skyrocket in like hundreds of thousands of percentages in like sales and viewership because don't know those movies. And that's the big problem with the Academy Awards. They actively pick those unknown indie films, which is why, those big blockbusters, which I think are quality movies, whenever we recognize as quality because they're gatekeeping that.
But also, speaking of indie films, I feel like black indie films do a very good job of highlighting like black people in a good light. Like Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Yeah,
is that what that's called?
Yeah,
that was a really good,
so a lot of them.
Good movie, and it had a struggle in it. Of course, that's part of it. But it was overall, I felt like that was a positive movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And to me, I think that just solidifies the point of like when you have big money, they dictate it to a point where that gets watered down to what they want to show.
I feel like now the way how the game done got fucked up and people switched up is like what's important. Like that's why Tyler Perry is successful because he stayed in his lane and he did not care about I want white marketability. I want that marketability. Like we get like now in our generation like we was talking about this when we was talking about the Denzel. Like we had the Love Jones. We had all these movies that when Spike Lee was producing shit and making his films.
All of that stuff has been replaced with black trauma movies.
Yeah.
Now.
But they wasn't even. But back then he didn't even care for it. Like he didn't care that he was aiming for that. And now it's like we've gotten it's a weird way how I'm trying to articulate this, but it's like when those films was getting made, you could just tell like it was made for us and by us, and we went from like damn okay we want to get a Oscar, like and so now it's like we started moving from a different lane where it was like maybe we wasn't gonna have to. We may not have gotten an Oscar. Like, I'm happy for everybody that gets an Oscar, but maybe that's not what we need as success, as what you're kind of getting at. Like, maybe the goal is not to get an Oscar. Maybe the goal is just to make great films that everybody is going to look back. Because it's hella different communities, white people, all different races, that look back at all these black movies from Spike Lee and other black filmmakers from back then and say, that's a classic. I'm like, y'all don't even know about Paid in Full, but y'all calling that shit a classic. Y'all don't even know about this movie. Y'all talking about Do the Right Thing is a classic. What the fuck you know about that shit? Just because you was from Brooklyn, I feel you. But like, is that really the goal? Like now our goals are different now. Like, okay, if you're an indie filmmaker and you're black and you make a great film, the goal now is like the goal line move. I just feel like the goal line, we've moved the goal line when that wasn't even meant for us in the first place. Like, we weren't meant to be at the Oscars, but we want to be at the Oscars. Yeah. So now we're not making films that are actually great films for great films. We're making films so they can be at the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, and it's because, like, any artist making anything, regardless of what medium you're working in, you want to reach as many people as you can with your art. Like, artists can be like, I don't care, but most artists want to reach as many people as they can, and
I mean,
the Oscars is the worldwide stage for that. You know what I mean? So that's more. I think it's more. Huh?
Everybody's always gonna care about the Oscars.
Exactly. So that's what's like you want your name in that so the world can see this is my art, not necessarily because I won an Oscar necessarily. Sometimes it's that, but I think it's more just for your exposure for the black community.
It's like you want to be in the finals, nigga. Who?
It's like I'm as good as anybody on the planet with this. Like
it's the stage.
Don't put my shit in no little box.
Also, what comes with that is now your price got to go up because. Oscar nominated or Oscar winning, Oscar nominated is a price jump. Oscar winning is another price jump. You know what I mean? But like even looking at this, like Best Picture, the two black movies in here are both black trauma movies. The Judas and the Black Messiah and The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah.
Like those are the two black movies that are in the Best Picture. And it's like it's kind of it's definitely like a bittersweet thing because cool they could win Best Picture, and now that makes all the people who was involved lives bigger and better, but at the same time it's like at what cost?
It's just it's like keep leveraging.
I mean, honestly, because I didn't know that there was a body of people that nominate these films, and the Oscars have done a lot better adding in more people of color, but the Golden Globes, there's like a handful of black people that pick those movies that get nominated. So to me, I'm just like, we didn't even know that the gatekeepers got gatekeepers. And that's the thing. People like, oh, well, getting mad at whoever's like hosting that year. Oh, Kevin Hart, like, oh, why hosting the Oscars? I'm just like, that had nothing to do with me, I'm hosting the Oscars. To me, that's a big deal. But because we're black, we gotta represent all black people. We all gotta protest. And I'm just like, you don't have to.
That shit difficult, bro. Like I feel like a lot of those films, like, and I like those films. Like I do get pissed at the end of them. And here goes the thing, and this is the disclaimer. We're black. So we watch those films from a different lens than if you're not black. So when I'm saying that, it's like you could watch Judas and Messiah and you're gonna be upset, but you could also walk away from it saying that's a great film because you know that's your history. You know what I'm saying? The part that pisses me off is like if that was not any historical context being leveraged in Judas and the Black Messiah, would it be what it is? Like if let's say Fred Hampton was not Fred Hampton of real life
Oh
standing.
yeah, would he even gotten like funded?
Would it even have gotten funded? If this just a story that they
Someone
I
made
wanna
up.
tell.
Someone just like
Made up.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
and now is this it? I think it would have still been a great film. Do I think it would have been at the precipice that it is?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And that's why I get pissed because those gatekeepers that are choosing those films that are not black, the people that's in them boardrooms, they're going like, damn, I'm gonna pick that because of the historical context.
Basically.
But that shit was
Which
a
is
good
why
fucking
there's-
film. It was shot beautiful. The script was
Yeah.
great. The acting amazing. The cast amazing. Cause you know, and that's the part that pisses.
No,
I get pissed.
To me, I want to see more black people in fiction. Like, how come everything has to be related to real life?
Like,
That
Dune-
is
like
very true.
Dunes.
There's a lot.
Can we
of
just make
yeah.
like the black Superbad? Like,
Like,
come on.
Superbad
And
was
then-
fire.
yeah.
They
That's what
do
I'm
need to
saying.
do that.
Like, can
They
we get
do
that?
need to do that.
Well, like
what
the science fiction movies like Dune. Like if I saw
outside of
black
Black
people in
Panther,
Dune,
we don't have any big black superheroes. Like
And then,
honestly,
and then I'm
Blade,
just like,
they were supposed to do
Blade,
Green Lantern.
Blade
and
Blade
Blade
is a
and
Marvel.
that don't even get me started.
Listen, Blade
Saved
was revolutionary.
Disney.
It was fire
We're
shit.
not gonna get into that today because
But
that's
that
a
nigga
whole
saved
huge
the
fire
thing.
shit.
No,
that
yeah.
Avengers
you know,
wouldn't be here without fucking Blade
but
1,
Marvel,
2, and 3.
Marvel would not.
yeah,
be here
because
None of that.
they were broke, and then
Shout
they
out
were
to a
broke,
black
right?
man.
And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
and
they
then
were.
sold-
Wesley
okay.
Snipes.
Blade,
Shout out to the
Blade
black man.
turned all that shit around.
And I still watch those films. Like
Yeah.
shout out to HBO Max for having all three.
Have any of y'all seen the Sound of Metal?
I heard it was
Yes,
good, but I haven't
that
seen
was
it.
a good movie.
I heard it was.
It
good.
was a very good
It was
movie.
very
It was a
good.
very, very.
I really
very
I
like
need to
him
watch
as an
it.
actor.
Do y'all know what it was about?
Nah.
Basically, it's he was a drummer.
He was a drummer, and he started going deaf.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically he went, and then he was kind of learning how to live with his deafness, but then he had an opportunity to kind of recorrect that, and then I think the other guy got a supporting actor nomination. He was just like, to want to change it, you're saying that it's a disability when it's like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was a good movie. It was really good.
And I really like Riz
I heard it was
Ahmed.
good.
Like he's a very good actor. I've seen him in a lot of stuff from. I remember the first thing he was in was like Star Wars or whatever, but he's really taken because he used to rap, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And especially given that movie that he's doing at the
as
film
well.
festival, where he's a rapper. This is just kind of funny. It's full circle. But Sound of Metal. Have any of y'all seen The Night of? It's a show on HBO that he plays in, and basically he's on trial for a murder where they're saying that he murdered this girl, and they're basically profiling him because Riz Ahmed is a Middle Eastern. Yeah, so it's that's a real good show. That's one of the ones that's nominated for Best Picture too. The other one that I know is the Father. Have y'all heard about that?
No, I have not.
I've been out the game.
I haven't heard about it.
So that's starring Anthony Hopkins, and
Really?
basically, it's a movie where he's getting old and he's starting to have like dementia, and it's played out. Yeah, it's played out where it's like you're seeing it from his point of view, so you're basically like experiencing dementia.
Okay.
Throughout like the whole movie, and it's like it's a really good movie.
Kind of like how Memento is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're seeing the gaps in his mind.
Very, very similar. Very similar.
That's
I'm just looking at this.
That was a good
and this
movie.
stuff,
I'm
yeah.
still stuck on this topic.
What?
Like I'm still stuck on like why is black trauma. I feel like black
But that's
trauma
what
is getting
sells,
it sells,
bruh.
but it's because they can't make shit else that we feel. So like they put out shit that they know we gonna feel.
No. It's not stuff that we feel. It's stuff that they feel. Like
Yeah.
that's what they want. They don't want to see happy black
Superbad.
stories. Like that's
Come on
not.
now.
Yeah, that's not what
We need
appeals.
that.
Yeah.
We are all gonna go see it, but we're not enough
Yeah.
for them to make the money. That's why those films be independent films. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
Like
that's
you have
what-
like your waves, and you have like.
And
Blaze
that's
was
what I think about when those kind of movies get nominated and they win. I'm like, is this like a late apology, you know, for all the decades of us not being on this platform. You know, like, oh, let's make up for it. By now, let's nominate this token film or this token actor because to me, it's always just one or two, and I'm just
literally.
like, and then like after years and decades of being 7 white, 7 this, and I'm just like,
shit like this makes me really go back and think about like all the movies, like black movies that I might not have appreciated enough, like Moonlight. Like
Great film.
Moonlight was a great film, but like just for in this conversation, like it was a really important and valuable film to us as a culture, us as a people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be able to speak to not just like being, you know, a black man and being a black gay man. Like it was a lot. Like they touched on a lot in a very good way.
Yeah.
The way that I look
Going
at it
in, I
was-
didn't even know what it was about. Like I was just going to see
exactly
it because I saw Mahershala Ali. I was like, this
Yeah.
might be good. You know?
Love Mahershala
That shit was
Ali.
fire
Like,
as hell.
He is a really great actor. He's a really great actor. I'm trying to think, like, what else? Like, what could we really do to change this perspective of, like, black trauma being the thing for, you know, black movies and black shows, popularity-wise?
Stop making black drama.
well, yeah, I just
Stop
feel like not
recreating.
to put it on us, but I feel like, you know, instead people want to be actors, they want to be directors. Instead of directors, they should be, because I don't think people realize how much goes into a film. You know, they see the director and the actors, and that's it. They don't think about being a producer. They don't think about, you know, set design. They don't think about being the casting director. And those are the people that are always setting up the narrative that we see.
Shout out to the costumers.
You have to
too.
be in those
Yeah, that
positions.
too. You know, yeah,
I mean,
because
all those roles are important. Like,
yeah, but
very
they're
important.
not. But they're not like sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
They're not getting the dresses and the Oscar walks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They're
That's
just.
the thing. We always want what's sexy and not like
Got to be in the front.
we gotta be. in
Yeah,
the
I mean,
front.
honestly, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there's some of the movies that we really loved. Like I mean, everybody. I think a lot of people watch Abstract, and it's oh man, she's the costumer. She was the costumer for a lot of Spike Lee's films. The costumer, I think her name's Ruthie Carter. And like, for example, she's the costumer, but she's the costumer for Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like all those films that we feel represented in.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no, that's a
Yeah.
classic because I literally could see myself in that film, but she's not walking in the like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like we always are going for what's sexy, like what's
What's visible?
what's
Yeah,
visible,
yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
true.
damn, like she still has a
even
good life.
though I feel like that's changing a little bit because I think I'm seeing more people that are really highlighting their achievements in these other like smaller I don't even want to call them smaller because they're still like just as valuable, but other roles like casting directors and costume designers. I feel like, you know, and that's kind of back to conversation that we had a lot in this podcast in general with social media, in that they're able to kind of highlight what they do in a way, in a different kind of way, in the sense that they can put out there like, hey, I just won this award for costume design or casting or whatever.
It's kind of like, to B's point, like it's like the ignorance is somewhat on us because we just don't know the industries as well as we should. So what I'm saying is like there's certain people, like we all know, it's like them certain rooms where it's like, nah, that nigga's not the biggest person in the room, or that woman, she's not the biggest person, the person that you think does everything, but you go and they be like, yo, I really want to get put on to do this. All right, you need to talk to the person at the front desk and be really cool with her. And you're like, why? Oh, because she's the person who really is cool with everybody. If you're cool with her, and that's sometimes maybe the casting director.
Yeah,
You
true.
may be like, yo, let me get real cool with the casting director. And now, shit, like, oh shit, like the casting
Yeah.
director got more pulls and strings
And
than the next person.
And it goes back to that kind of like something that I feel like my parents kind of taught me, and I feel like all of our parents probably taught us as black people, is that, you know, like let's say we're taking it like a school, you need to appreciate the janitor.
I
just
knew
as
you was
much
gonna
as
say
you
that,
do
the
principal,
CEO.
because it's just like everybody matters in some kind of sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though this person is a janitor, you know, that janitor knows things that might be important.
He
for
clean
you.
every flow.
You know
He-
what I
she
mean?
clean every flow.
There's things that you can like glean from someone like that. You know what I mean?
Knowledge is
And
king.
yeah, exactly.
And I think like also like if we want certain things, because I think we have to stop asking other people who are not us for those opportunities, and we have to put ourselves in spaces where we are the producers, like you said, because I mean we've been asking for a lot of shit for a long time and we not getting it. So you have to stop asking and say, okay, instead of asking them, let's just put ourselves in those positions so we don't have to ask necessarily.
That kind of leads me to a question because I've heard both sides, but do you think it's better to network up or across?
Across.
Across?
I say across because 90% of all industries business is based off of relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
So because if you're going upward and you don't have the foundation underneath you to support you, you're not going to go as far, and your ground, your fall, because we all fall, we all stumble. You're going to go you're going to go right back down.
Yeah, but no type of safety net.
When you have a go across, like the janitor, that you could, here goes a whatever example. My dad has this story where he was like, he runs the Braves camera, but he's cool with everybody. And you could run across, he tells me countless story where he's like, do you never know who knows who? So like, he'll tell me a story about like how he met someone in concessions and they know somebody here because they've been working here for like 40 years and that person is best friends with the owner. And like, they know, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing with a janitor. That janitor could be cleaning every floor every night. And because the CEO is there every day, every night, him and the janitor are best friends. You just don't know. And so that's why I say, like, when you go across, you have a better foundation to understand of, like, what you're really getting into. So now you know, like, your industry and you're lacking. Now you know you're not going to be as ignorant as just say, like, oh, I'm just going for this. And it's like, so where you may go to that. Like, it's positions in every industry where it's like, you may have the most visible title, but the person 3-4 ranks beneath you makes 4 times what you're making. And you're like, why is that? Because they actually pull the strings. You just got the scapegoat position.
I was about to ask for an example of networking across versus networking up. He kind of gave the across. What would be like networking up?
So networking up, so for example, I have an internship and there are other interns and we all have like the same boss. So it's like to network up and just try to make nice with my boss and his colleagues instead of staying with my colleagues.
So like for me, would it be like, so me, I'm a designer. So I have a art director and a creative director, and then like they have their bosses. I'm only trying to get good with the person ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like the rank ahead of me.
Where I want to be. That's what I'm going to talk
Yeah.
to. But networking across is like, hey, we're all here in the same position. Let's all collaborate or let's kind of come together.
Honestly, I feel like it's twofold just because I feel like you do the networking across first and then you do the networking up so that when you're up, you can bring everyone from the across aspect up. You get what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense?
It does.
Like, and not to say that you can't network across and get up from networking across, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't put it in a place where it's like, okay, I got to do either or. I'll be like, why can't I do both?
Yeah. And,
you know what I mean?
in my opinion, if you're just a nice, personable person, you probably will do both without even trying. It's people that are ostracizing, like, oh, it's like we're in competition, but like we're not. We're just in the same place.
Yeah.
But then people see it as like, oh, you're where I'm at. I gotta get ahead of you. I gotta get ahead of you by talking to this guy.
And I feel like that's like the problem. That's what I was gonna say at first with like networking.
And that's what like
up.
I was taught, going in like, oh, like don't let him get better than you. But he's the guy that put me on the projects that I'm enjoying. He's like, hey, we talked about this before. So and so, I told him about you. Go talk to them. My boss didn't do that for me. My coworker did that for me because we have a relationship that's outside of work.
Yeah.
It covers your ass too. Like, I know for me, like, the more people you know and like, it's just the better. Like, because sometimes again you're gonna run into the gatekeeper. It's just the unfortunate scenario being black. I mean, I'm pretty sure other people deal with it, but like, the gatekeeper is way less accepting of it. Like, it's just you're not used to it. So like, the more you're trying to move up, no matter what you do, you're always gonna have somebody who's going to be the one, like whether that's somebody funding your project or like you may work in a corporate structure and you have a boss or a manager or director or whatever. You get your ass a little bit better protected when you go across, because like now, let's say for example you do get fired or like you do lose something, right? Like people know you so much like horizontally, laterally, that you made them feel like you're equal. you may get pulled here. Like you may have been a photographer and then like out of nowhere, like now you're doing something else. Why? Because like the opportunity was there and they know your work and like now you have a wider lens than like just thinking this. So like the more you see, the more it's like your director who's above you or whoever is how B is saying like above you in whichever capacity they're only seeing this. But like the more out you're here, like you may know somebody all the way over there and they're like, yeah, bro, I'm kind of good. Like I'm compromised again. Like you're gonna be way less likely to compromise on who you are as an individual and what you want. And even if you get fucked over, you're gonna be good with yourself because you know, like, oh no, I'm good, bro. Like if this route don't work, I know about 10 other ways that I can make this cake, and I'm still good.
Yeah, no, it just reminds me when my sister was like job hunting, and I was like, oh, like how'd that go? Does it apply? It's like, no, like I got this old boss and this old coworker, and you know I'm shopping out to them, and then they, you know, put me onto this and that, and it's just about building relationships. But people are just so focused on being better than somebody or being better than where they're at that they just kind of look like, oh, he's up there, I'm gonna be up there, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get up there. But you don't know what's up there.
The wildest shit was for me when I found out somebody who was like, I'm thinking like, damn, like you're a creative director and you're like just having that title, you supposed to be like the big. Everybody want to be a creative director, but and then you like I'm talking to another designer, and they've been in the game for like the same amount of time. They just been a designer, and he's like telling me, he's like, yo, that same creative director, I make about 5 times what they make, and I've worked on about half of the projects. They just got a title. They don't do shit. I'm the one that could get you that spot. And that to me is like power is just really in relationships.
Yeah, and that seems like another question. You guys may not like be able to answer it, but I've conversated with my mom, and I think about it all the time about like being transparent about like work, because I'm somebody who, oh, you got a new job, what's your salary? My mom's like, that's rude, that's weird. I'm like, but to me, that's how you get gypped. You know, I know too many people that they're like, oh, I get paid $5,000 less for the same time. I'm like, yeah, because you don't know what you're getting paid. You don't know what they're getting paid. So I feel like the bosses create that culture of secrecy to kind of keep you in your place. Because to me, if they were talking, they don't know, how the fuck am I a creative director and you're making 5 times more? Not saying that you're not worth that, but so am I.
I feel like that's important, like with anything, because when you think about, you had brought up way earlier about how people were buying houses for basically like gentrification and how they paid them $300,000. That's a lot of money. But when you think about it, if they're offering you $300,000, how much can they
times that by 5?
Not even just but not even just how much is it worth, but how much more were they willing to offer you? That was their first. That's what they first came to you.
That's true.
That's something that my parents told me just recently. Like, you never take the first offer that you get. Never. Like, you never take the first offer that you get. You always negotiate. You know, because that first offer is literally like the bottom of what they are offering. They could probably do 2 times that. They don't want to, and I mean, you know, it's what you get with people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even I've had that own experience, like with the store, like, cause I met basically like the lady who was in the space like the year before I was there, and she was paying like, I won't say like half, but like probably like a third less of rent than what I paid for the same exact space. And it's like, yeah, you kind of understand like, you know, inflation and all that kind of stuff, but also they just,
if you'd have known that going in, like, hey, well,
exactly.
You paid her this much, so now I know that you can do that much.
Yeah, that's exactly. Why I say across, because like even for me is where I'm getting in my career is like, just because of all the people I know and like gain the knowledge, like I can sit in a room and it's like, I know what to negotiate and I'm okay with that price. And I don't feel shaky about it because it's like, nah, like that's the price. Like the price is the price. And like I know that's actually the price. Yeah. So you're not going to jip me, bro. Pay me.
And a lot of people don't know this about rent, but there's only a certain percentage that your rent can go up legally
for sure
each year.
Yeah.
But since nobody knows that, a lot of places that rent take it all the way up. You know what I mean? And if you really like, you can even like go back now and like look at like your rent history and be like, okay, y'all were only supposed to go up 1.5%. This is a 3.5% increase. Y'all have to give me that 2% back for, you know, every single one of those months. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like you said, like knowledge is key, and really like knowing the inner workings and knowing that you can negotiate things and change the price on things.
Yeah, and then it's like some people want to blame consumers, but I was just like, it's a lot to learn on top of just living. You know, I can't imagine somebody working 40 hours, taking care of their kids and their house and their lot, and they got to worry about all this extra shit to not get gypped. If getting gypped is working just fine, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing for a lot of people. Getting gypped is working just fine, and that's
because we ain't had shit.
Not even that. It's just like sometimes with how life goes, especially for Black people or even minorities as a whole, you know, you got so much other stuff that's difficult that you have to deal with in your life. So much other stuff that you have to worry about. You know, you're not gonna worry about the fact that your water bill, your light bill should be lower than what it is.
Yeah,
that they're overcharging you for that, because it's just like, cool. You know, you look at it from a year's perspective. Yeah, you might have spent like a extra $100, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things and how, you know, maybe because of, you know, your situation, you're renting for the next 10 years. You know, shit like that starts to add up, basically. You know, and it kind of like adds up in the sense that it probably kept you in those kind of positions. You know, it's the same thing like that I just recently learned about overdraft fees and how like crazy that's been going for people this year or last year or whatever. How they made, I don't even know what the numbers are.
They make billions off
like
of overdraft fees.
Billions off of overdraft fees.
And overdraft because you're making money off of no money.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, and they charge your account for not having money in it.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And then you put money back into it, and they still charge you the overdraft fee because it was just like, oh, well, when we checked it this time, it was
you didn't have it.
You didn't have it. So now we're gonna take it back from you.
Yeah,
again.
and then I'm thinking and I hate that we can all think critically now. We got the time, but I was like, what the fuck is money? How come, you know, that's what I end up thinking. I'm like, what is $35? Where's it coming from?
Listen, Malik is on his phone over there, but we was sitting in the car talking about how, like, the dollar is going down.
Oh, yeah.
And down, and down, and down.
No, yeah,
and
like...
how, and he gave a good example about Dunkin' Donuts and how his meal at Dunkin' Donuts was $5 and now it's $6 because the dollar is going down. And I was just like, I don't even notice things like that. Nobody notices things like that. Like, when you think about how you get your meal from this place, or I feel like we talked about this before.
The best example was,
we just didn't really like think about it.
Was Waffle House. How it's always a different charge every single time. You look at the same thing.
I just think that's just doing that.
They just be making that shit up, bro. Waffle House is different. They just be making that shit up. But listen, Chipotle. I feel like before I started eating Chipotle, everybody would tell me how, you know, a bowl used to be like $6 and now it's damn near $8.
Yeah,
it's just like, what changed? They damn sure don't give you more chicken.
Facts.
They damn sure don't give you more rice. Like, you damn sure not getting more of anything.
It's slowly going up.
And it's
that
just
shit
like
crazy because all the banks really. I mean, I learned this from Malik too. He's sitting over there, but the banks just be trading with your money all day, bro. That's all they doing.
Like,
they just trading. So like, when your money, you thinking your money's sitting in the bank, they like, all right, cool. We just trading everywhere.
Even your
with
money,
your money
in a savings account is a waste of your money, because it's just like they're just using that money and using it all day. They're making more money off of your money than you are.
They just trading.
You know what I mean?
That's why the dollar's going down.
So it's just like, it's better to, you know, like they say, Roth IRAs, or there's another one where it's like a MHP or something. I forgot what the fuck it's called.
Another Malik example. Cause
get your ass on the podcast. Financial literacy conversation.
The one thing that he said to me, I was like, oh my God. He was like, bro, stocks is just gambling.
Yeah.
Without any, you know, like physical money. I was like, because, you know, people like gambling is, you know, so bad. I'm like, but people gamble in this legal way all the time, and that's okay. But gambling with hard-earned money, well, hopefully you earned it, you know, it's frowned upon. And I was like, oh, that's so true. Because I was like, gambling? Why do I gamble? He was like, why people do stocks? I was like...
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you can do your little, like, predictions or whatever, but it's kind of like, with gambling, your predictions is like card counting. Yeah. So it's just like... and I think card counting is a little bit more secure when you're gambling. Like, you count those cards, you about to get, you know what you're about to get.
You're about to get paid.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, it's the same kind of thing. It's all just how much information is disseminated for people, and for our people especially. Like, we don't always get all that kind of information. Like, usually we don't get that information. And I mean,
Or we take like the surface layer and just like run with it without ever looking deeper into it.
That too.
Sometimes we don't even know something deeper underneath it.
Exactly. That'd be the problem. Like this is stuff that you should learn in school. You know, like there should be not college, like high school. Like you should be learning the value of your. I mean, in college, but you can find this kind of stuff in college. But like
middle
I'm
school,
saying,
fuck that.
Yeah, like
after middle school, your ass, we teaching you life.
Yeah,
High school, all that shit, you can have all that shit, but life.
You gotta early on, you know, you want to learn the value of things. Not just the value of money, but the value of things.
Yeah,
learning the value of money helps you learn the value of things because you know when you have value for money, then you spend your money on things, and then now you value those things in the same kind of way. Like, okay, I spent my money on this. This is precious to me because I spent money on this. You know what I mean? Money that I didn't have before.
Yeah, and then think about all these like, you know, in school we kind of had to pick like he's your core and like, hey, here's a choice. Do what you want to do. I was like, but I don't want to do none of this. But I gotta force a like because I gotta take one of these classes. But I was like, I can only imagine if they had like a finance class, like home ed, that's cool too, I guess, or a little baby class. But to me, you're kind of putting in people's brains that this is really the only route.
Yeah. What is home ed again? Like cooking?
Cooking, yes.
Yeah, home ed.
Okay, I don't feel like we need cooking classes.
I think we can use a cooking class.
Have you seen the stuff people be making these days?
A lot of people don't know how to cook. That's basic for survival. Can you cook or not? Can you feed yourself?
Can you boil rice?
But I feel like that's something that you could just like learn at home.
See,
even if you can't learn it at home, you're not about to get no better in that cooking class. That's what I'm saying.
You still be excited when somebody say they could cook. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but you do. But I'm just saying, like that cooking class, a nigga's gonna take that cooking class. If you can't cook, you can't cook.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
cooking
true.
is basic like instructions. Do this, do this. It's not like either I have this skill or I don't have this skill. It's like, I mean, if you boil the rice this way, you make good rice.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like the instruction part of it is so easy to access that you don't need a class for it.
Disclaimer, everybody, because he's a chef. He cooks. So this is coming from a nigga that bakes, cooks.
Don't know how to cook.
This nigga do everything.
I can cook now. And that's because like, growing up.
How now? Like, how recently?
I'll say like when I moved out, so like 1920. So it's not been too long. I'm 23 now. 1920? I moved out when I was 19.
Age.
1920. I'm like, not the year.
Yeah. No, because
like, how old are you? 1920.
I want to learn how to cook. I watched my mom just pinching shit, and I was like, "How do you do that?"
Pinching shit.
You know, she's like, "Well, I've been doing this for decades. You know, you start with the instructions, and then you know you get creative. Like, okay, I can make this with my eyes closed. Let me add this. Let me add that. I
just always started cooking shit, and sometimes it turned out good.
See,
sometimes it turned out. I learned about trial and error. Like,
I would hate that part.
And then if I'm eating it, I'm like, this shit is trash. And then next time I know, like I don't be mad if my experiment like turned out trash. I was like, next time I know what not to do. That's how I learn.
I like how you said.
So I can cook like this.
Trash.
Tears in his eyes.
For my life now, I watch Gordon Ramsay and like cooking shows religiously. Like, there's no instruction in those cooking shows, but I'll be like, okay, I see that. Let me go get that shot. Yeah. Like, let me go make some steak right now. Oh, he's doing a little flipping the butter on the steak. That's how you cook it through. Okay, cool. I flip the butter on everything.
And it's crazy because steak seems so hard, but steak is really not that hard to make. Like, if you just got like
sear it on this side, sear it on that side.
Probably for like 2 minutes.
Throw it on the stove.
Salt and pepper. You really don't need no other type of seasonings on it.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, yeah.
It just depends if you want other seasonings on it. Like,
I feel like you really don't need
we are
salt
black
and
people.
pepper.
That salt and pepper is kind of like a, the YT thing.
I know, but I've had steaks and I'm just like, I feel like all you really need is salt and pepper. You can have a good steak with just salt and pepper. If you want to add everything else, I feel like it's just more salt. Most seasonings are based in salt.
That's true. That's true. Usually, if I'm using another seasoning, I'm not using salt with that seasoning because I know that seasoning has salt in it. We've gotten all the way from meals to cooking. How do we even get here? Who was arguing about if home ed is important?
You started that argument. Home ed is very important.
I mean, I'm replacing home ed with finance at any time.
I mean,
of course, you're talking about which one is more important, I guess.
Yeah, I can name 5 classes that are more important than home
ed. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying niggas don't know how to cook. That makes them spend more money eating out.
Very
so then
true.
they're losing
niggas
money.
Don't know how to cook, hit me up. I got you. Easy. You can even hit him up. You can cook. pretty decent.
So you're the home ec teacher now.
So
it's like
His
they
house
still
is
need
like-
you. They
Listen,
still
my
need you.
cooking YouTube channel is coming soon. I just need to get into a nicer
I'm just
kitchen.
not giving my recipes out though. You already had a little
Gatekeeping.
Huh?
Yeah.
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper.
Hey, some shit you already look.
Some shit you gotta gatekeep?
Yeah, some shit. Hey, that's what your specialty is.
See, nah, man. That's the thing. You know what I mean? The way I make it, can't nobody make it like me. Even with the recipe, that's just paper. That's just instructions, bro. Like, they ain't gonna...
They not gonna
can't
do
do
the
the
same.
you know
I
what I mean?
understand.
The
I understand. I
Ooh.
understand. You had like that chicken I made in Colorado.
Huh?
That shit was good.
Yeah, and I definitely, you know,
I don't even know what to write down.
copycat jutsu that shit. Like,
Yeah, you just gonna have to watch.
I've seen it.
record.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I know
you
what I
I'm
gotta
watching
do now.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Bro,
I'ma
I used
add
to
my
burn
little-
shit though. I used
Yeah.
to burn some shit, boy.
Listen, when I first started off
I
cooking,
used to think I was
burning
fine. I was like, damn, this shit cooking too fast. Oh my god. Oh
Nah, for
I was
real.
burning every
Oh my
goddamn
God.
thing,
And then
bro.
there was shit, like I remember the first time I put some chicken on the skillet and I cooked, I was like, oh shit, this shit look done. Picked it up, I said, cut it open. I said, oh.
Yeah.
Damn. Can't even eat the shit because it's burnt now. If I put it back on there, that should be the worst feeling when you got there. Undercook something and you like,
Yeah, undercook the inside and the outside be just
Or
burnt.
the
and you like, you
First
can't do
time-
nothing no
It's like-
more. You like, fuck.
Or the first time the smoke alarm goes off and you're cooking, you're just like, oh, so now the police are gonna come.
Now the police are gonna come.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I'm burning down the house.
And then there's sometimes where it's just like, it's so hard where, you know, the outside is burnt, but the inside isn't done.
It's
That shit
raw.
hurt your soul, bro.
Like,
That shit
bruh.
hurt your
You be
soul.
excited.
I'm just like, what were you doing in there?
Like, how did you not cook on the inside?
You excited
cooked on
too.
the
You be
outside.
like, yeah, that shit look crispy. That shit look good.
Cut into
You
it.
be
that
so
shit-
ready. Yeah, you
Cut
be
into
so
it,
ready.
that
You
shit
like,
bleeding.
you like,
That shit bleeding.
Or sometimes I would take a bite and I was like, oh, this is chewy.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
you're
And it wasn't
different.
Oh,
meant
you
to
take
be.
the bite.
You're different.
See,
You're different.
Take a bite.
You,
Look, if
man,
you
we're gonna
cooking,
have
you like this.
salmonella.
You still got it. When you trying some shit,
Listen,
you gotta
I cut it.
It
I
looked
cut it.
Cut it. You
No,
cut
okay.
it. You like,
Moving,
all right,
I don't
let's
take
be
no
sure.
bite.
All right, don't put
I
that
don't
bitch
take
back
no
in.
bite. I might take a bite now because I know what I'm doing, but back then it was just
I didn't
like,
know it was
yeah,
that
I
hard. I
gotta
was
cut.
like, okay,
'Cause
fire,
I don't trust.
seasonings.
I don't trust the little thermometer shit. Put the little thermostat in there and
I don't even
check the
have that.
temperature. I don't either.
I go.
I haven't seen it in one black person's kitchen.
They always say, and make sure it's 165 degrees. Oh,
You use it
Yeah,
frequently?
Corey.
not super frequently.
Yeah, don't
Yo,
do
relax. Yo, relax. I see. I
Now,
heard
look,
what you was doing over
She
there.
said,
Fucking
she said
talking
I was
about.
the rude one. Get her, bro. Go ahead,
Nah,
bro.
she
You
fucked
see how
up.
she-
You ain't come back here. You ain't come back here. Actually, I'm gonna just cut you
this
out on
most
this video.
sensitive nigga
Fuck you
on the
talking
whole
about?
show, but she
Yo.
do the most wildest shit.
See, you're spewing a narrative that nobody knows about.
No, they know. They've seen you on here before.
see
They know.
They
They
see it.
I'm
understand.
pretty chill on here.
People can pick it
Comment
up.
that I'm chill on here.
No one's gonna comment that.
No comment, bro.
Listen, man. Listen.
Don't say shut up or relax. Bless your heart.
But yeah, I use the thermometer. Like for my chicken in the oven, I check it, make sure it's like
My knife.
good.
yeah.
My knife.
Knife.
I
Yeah.
check. See, the reason why I use the thermometer is just because sometimes for stuff that I don't really want to like cut into,
Yeah.
because I cut into it and now it's like,
Presentation.
yeah, the presentation is off.
feel
Exactly.
you.
So I do the thermometer.
I feel you.
Just get a little. You don't even notice where
It's
your
really just for
thermometer at.
chicken though. Like I feel like it's really for chicken. Cause chicken is the one that I feel like I always have like the trick.
Yeah,
Had
'cause
the trick.
I don't
Had
really-
not anymore, but had the trickiest time.
Yeah, I don't really check my chicken anymore because it's just like I know like the timing once, you know, for cooking.
So what do you use? What do you use the thermostat for then?
for like steaks and stuff and like
I
burgers.
don't cook that. I don't cook that either.
Yeah, stuff. I use it for stuff that's like where it's like a thick piece of meat. Pause.
That was so unnecessary, bro.
Because
Nah,
you
it
guys
was,
paused
bro.
before you even done saying the whole
Like,
thing.
I paused. I
He was
took
like-
a pause when because I was just like, damn, there's no other way.
Yeah, there's no way. I'm already headed there.
Like, I wasn't even thinking that. Like I feel like when you say pause, sometimes your brain not even. You like. Oh,
There was
damn.
no other way to say it, so I was just like, damn, I gotta say this and say that
Because
pause
now
right
I'm like,
afterwards.
I wasn't thinking that, but you were
You
thinking that.
I'm like,
Listen. But yeah, like when it's one of those, you can't really like tell if it's cooked all the way through unless you cut into it and then you cut into it and not a presentation is fucked up.
Oh,
I can't take my picture.
You gonna eat it?
Hmm?
You gonna eat it?
I mean, yeah. Once it's good, I mean, eat it regardless.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
all I care for.
All right, man. We're gonna talk for a long time.
We
got
We have.
completely off topic, but hopefully y'all thought that was fun or whatever. I'll probably just make this a clip for whatever reason. People might care about how we feel about cooking. And
Made some bomb ass firecracker shrimp
That
Yeah,
was
we
some
did.
good shrimp.
and some. Yeah.
Hey, maybe one of these podcast episodes it should be like a podcast in the kitchen.
Well,
kitchen
I only
conversation.
listen, so I'm gonna listen to you cook.
Let's just stop. I knew where he was going. No,
I
let's
mean, I
stop.
just
We're
might not
BuzzFeed
drop that
TV.
one on Spotify or Apple.
Oh,
That might be a YouTube exclusive.
Oh, okay.
You
my
know what I'm
bad.
saying?
Because
Like-
I'm a Spotify podcast listener, so I was like, who watches podcasts?
We're
But
not
apparently a lot of
BuzzFeed.
people
A
do.
lot of people.
A lot of people do. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I watch
yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah,
I watch
See,
podcasts.
I watch them too. Like
I
I
know.
prefer.
I prefer watching.
yeah, I prefer the watch because it's just like you see once you start see like that joking going on, you guys see like everything that's
Exactly.
happened. Like I watch the Joe Budden podcast a lot, and to see like this nigga Joe stand on a chair or be doing all this extra
all
stuff,
the theatrics.
it makes it so much funnier. It's like watching television.
I like
really.
Drink Champs a lot too. And I really like what they're doing with Drink Champs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a good show. The only thing with them is their show is a little bit longer.
A little.
Very long. as hell.
Like-
A little
like-
too, you had to
3
break them
hours.
up in
Like Joe
parts.
kind of keeps it under 3 hours. Drink
Yeah.
Champs would be like
5.
that 3, 4, 5.
They will be
Yeah.
5, and you got to watch 2.
Yo, listen.
Come back, and I be like, they be drinking the whole damn way through. I'm like drunk and high. I feel you though. You get lost of time.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I mean, like for us, man, we done talked for like an hour 15, and it's just like
That's my master
where-
podcast.
Where are we about to go now? Like, I'm just like, how could I can't even envision
For another
talking
2 hours.
for 4 more hours or 2 more hours. Like, what the?
I mean, you might as well have like a vlog or something. At least do something while you're talking,
listen,
but just to.
In
It is-
order to do that and talk for that many hours, I would have to have like someone here who was like giving like cues and stuff. Like, okay, here's the next topic. Like, here's this, here's that. Like, there's a full blown production at
Yeah.
that point. That's the
A
only
lot
way
of
I'd be
time.
able
That's
to
how
do
I
it.
feel like Drink Champs they be running, because you could tell like he actually prepares for the question, but it's also like big names.
Yeah.
So like you gonna have questions. You gonna
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
you-
records.
You can keep on talking. and
You know,
talking and
like when
talking.
Pharrell and
you put Pharrell on there, you could talk about
Busta
yeah.
Rhymes and like you
Decades.
Talk
go
about his whole life story.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like you know, like
Exactly.
damn, what happened to this moment on that record? Shit, so what happened was
All right, so
nah,
whole
honestly,
life story, 1 hour later. All right, so now tell me about this record. Whole nother hour.
See,
just
y'all
on
don't
that.
even know about the shit with this record. See what really happened. Hold on, let me get a drink. And then that's how that whole drink shit.
All go on. But all right, y'all, we're gonna get up out of here, get out y'all hair. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for listening if you're listening, watching if you're on YouTube and everything. We really appreciate y'all tuning in to the Too Many Ideas podcast yet again for another week. We will be back next week for another episode, and we are out of here.